the true endgame of MMORPGs is fashion. You've heard that quote a lot, I bet.
That is kind of true, though. And collection logs, right? Here, let me... And a lot of fashion comes from collection logs.
Wherever there's character customization, there will be fashion. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, Star Wars The Old Republic, Elder Scrolls Online, many more probably, even RuneScape 3. Those games, they allow you to participate in Transmogrification. Players can show themselves in whatever outfit they want, regardless of what they have equipped. The best gear doesn't always mean the best looking gear. Thanks to transmog systems, you can essentially put an illusion spell on yourself, showing everyone else a version of you that's a shameless lie. Wearing your best in slot or your high-level gear while still looking exactly the way that you'd like to. Pardon me, ma'am. I bet you she doesn't even look like that. She's probably not even actually wearing that skimpy one piece. Probably decked out head to toe in some real masculine armor. However, in this here world of Gielinor, the old school Gielinor, it's never existed here, and it never will. In old school RuneScape, the endgame is also fashion, but it takes it to a whole new level. If you see somebody wearing something, that's exactly what he's wearing. And as sensical as that sentence sounds, that's actually an extremely rare thing in MMORPGs. In fact, this might be the last actively played MMO where transmog does not exist. In old school, if you want to look a certain way, you've got to commit to it. Long term, this is one of the greatest things about old school RuneScape that allows it to separate itself from the other big dogs. I think we look at old school RuneScape, why it doesn't have transmog, and what it's done for the game long term, because I think it has a lot more of an effect.
Goodness, RuneScape doesn't have transmog, man.
I can't focus on literally anything because I'm a hungry little guy. Yeah, I did have a chef make me my dinner tonight. Not at my house. They made it somewhere else and then shipped it to my house, but it was a chef. They don't have to be, you know, at your house. They can just do it. They could put it in a container and just send it to you. And that's what Cook Unity does. I know there's a lot of services out there that do that, but Cook Unity, they're just a step above all the others. The selection of food that they have,
Cook Unity,
just so much better.
Shout out.
Dustin Taylor's Carolina pulled pork plate. I know you've heard me say it before. I'm gonna say it again because it's the best. The smile that appears on my face when I have that delivered to my door and I take it out of the beautiful package and put it in my fridge for later. God, it gets me through my week sometimes. Penne a la vodka, that's Flutton's favorite. If you've never given Cook Unity a shot, I promise you the time that you save, the convenience you feel, it's gonna lift your spirits in the middle of...
Can't stand mid-video ads? Guys, listen, the mid-video ads are what allow some of these creators to continue being creators. So while you don't like them, we might not have the video without them. So it's just part of the system at this point.
Of the week.
Gotta just go with it.
It does for me. So if you've never tried it before, head to the link in the description, cookunity.com/J1MMY. You can get 50% off your first order. Try it out. There's so many different options. It'll take some weight off your shoulders during the week. Very nice thing to have. Thank you to Cook Unity for sponsoring today's video. I could have swore we killed him off last Easter event. I don't get why he's here. Anyway, there's a dilemma that's as old as time, as long as time is around 25 years old. And that is that low-level gear might just look better than high-level gear. And this is a dilemma because wearing low-level gear while participating in high-level content, especially if there's other players involved, is a dumb and inconsiderate thing to do. But in 2011, Blizzard introduced players to the transmog system, letting players finally choose what they look like at all times, no matter what they have equipped, no matter what they're doing in the game. Now they can transmog their current helmet that looks like disgusting ass and make it look like the old one that they love. That's amazing. That's an awesome thing. I didn't play in 2011, but I can only imagine that players were through the roof about this.
I want to do this, but I don't know on who.
Awesome sauce.
Wow, that's cool.
Why I told Jimmy about this is I don't like transmog. And the reason I don't like it is because it devalues your effort that you put in the game. Like, I can't look at anybody's gear. Like, I don't care what anyone's wearing. Like, I don't care about anybody's gear. None of it matters. I don't care what the name of it is, like where it is. I never look at anybody's character and be like, oh, you look cool, because I know they didn't earn any of that gear. They didn't have to do anything to get it other than just go like one click a boss. Like, it doesn't matter to me what anybody looks like, and I think that is bad for an MMO, for a community, because what I should be doing is when you run past me wearing a Zuck helm, I'm like, oh shit, that guy's a gamer. And that is what an MMO does. It establishes like jealousy, like gear jealousy, because all of your gear in an MMO should be your status symbol of what you've accomplished, because that's what an MMO is at the end of the day. It's a trophy. Your character is a trophy that you are on display inside of the world of Gielinor. And the first thing you do when you tell somebody, if you meet somebody that plays the same MMO as you, you're like, oh, you play RuneScape? No way. Or like, what's your max level? Like, what have you done? Like, how far in are you? And they're like, oh yeah, I just got the quest cape. And they're like, oh shit, you finished all the quests? Nice. Because the quest cape is a symbol of completing a fairly long journey. And if somebody were to be like, yeah, I've got like full oath plate, and I actually just got a scythe last week, and then somebody's like, holy shit, you know, like the item identity and everything, it all means something. And I think that that's why I really like no transmog in MMOs. And that's what I told Jimmy.
Coolness. I can't do transform or whatever on any of my guys, so I'm pretty upset, but still cool. How do you even use this? What this is saying makes no sense to me.
Will you guys help me ever?
And just like most things that Blizzard were doing in the early 2010s, every other game copied them in some kind of way. Wait for Blizzard to do that cool thing and then create their own version of it. I mean, even right now, if you log onto retail and just run around some busy areas and you inspect any of the players you see, 90% of the time, you're gonna see that little purple text pop up saying, you know, the transmog, what you're seeing versus what they're actually wearing. Everyone's got transmog. There's even a mount in the game that lets you transmog your character at a moment's notice just by riding your mount suddenly. The transmog system is very loved by players. I know for a fact that there are a big handful of players that wouldn't even play the game if there was no transmog system. That's how much the RP part of the game means to them. During my short time playing retail, I remember competing in some kind of like dress to impress fashion show where they gave you a theme and you had to put together some outfit really fast in the transmog thing and then go on stage while everyone voted. Blizzard made that. They put it in. I haven't personally played Final Fantasy XIV yet, but I know they've got the glamour system, which is transmog. And with how gigantic their social scene is, I guarantee that this system is used basically by every player. Up until recently, in RuneScape 3, which is the retail of RuneScape, you would have to examine a player to see if that was the gear they're actually wearing, which it probably wasn't, because cosmetic overrides in that game, they took over. And they still have their cosmetic transmog system, but now they've added a toggle so that you can choose to display players transmog or not, which is amazing. Now you'll no longer see all the hideous outfits that players paid to be able to wear.
I was just thinking in my mind that there should be a toggle for it.
As we say, that's the word we use. You would think that fashion really doesn't take a high priority for the game, that players are going to be more focused on the gear that they need to be wearing for, you know, the raids and the high level PVM. But unlike other MMOs, playing the game does not mean that you're engaging in combat. You're doing some fishing or some wood cutting. You're making runes. You're mining things. You're driving a boat around. With so much of the game being skilling, players will probably find themselves at some point going to the bank, seeing what they have, and taking the time to create the perfect outfit. The outfit that will embody their character, that will display them to everyone else exactly the way they want to be seen. You'll never have to question whether or not a player's wearing exactly what you're looking at, which creates the most authentic MMORPG world you could possibly be a part of. RuneScape players have always valued fashion. In 2004, you could do treasure trails or clue scrolls to get trimmed versions of armor, or god versions of armor, which are just
or you could have somebody at the bank trim it for you. I found that out.
Trims with the god symbol. People would pay millions of gold, which was insane, by the way, back then. These armors had no additional bonus to the normal rune armor. They were just trim. They were so sought after that it seems like half the world's population got scammed thinking that somebody could trim armor for them, which, for the record, I never fell for that. I fell for 6 other ones. Not that one, though. I'm smart. Which reminds me, if you think you're smart, go ahead and like the video. If you don't think you're smart, then pretend you are for a second and also like the video. You liking the video is me being more happy and you being more smart. So what's there to lose? Before the days of Discord, MMORPGs often served as people's social hub. There was a lot more standing around and a lot more typing to others. And if you're doing a lot of standing around, you want to look good. So back then, players were purchasing things like flared
MMORPGs was like the first social media.
Trousers so that they can just suddenly break out in a dance. Or maybe they pulled out a black cavalier, put that on their head so they can show all the girls, the very real girls, how rich they were and how much they knew about the world. And those items, they don't give you any stats. They don't benefit your account,
or at least
in
the chat
literally
room,
any other way except you look good if you think that looks good, which everyone did. If you strolled into combat wearing that stuff, it would be like you were wearing nothing, because that's what it was. It was cloth, just clothes. But people paid millions and millions of coins to have that stuff in their bank just in case a special occasion called for them wearing it, because those items made them look so good. But let's fast forward to old school RuneScape. We've had a few years to grow up. We start seeing the world a little differently. We still care what gear looks like, but we're more so caring about what they can do for us. The way we valued items was different now, because, you know, we realized that those hot girl characters, you know, they were actually much more interested in how good we were at the game. So flared trousers and elegant tops, they just weren't doing it for us anymore. We didn't prioritize. On December 5th, 2013, old school RuneScape received an update that changed everything forever. Graceful. By doing agility and earning marks of grace during your laps, you could get this set. You get a 30% increase to your run energy regeneration. And in the early days of old school, that was the greatest thing that anyone had ever heard ever. Because run energy, which, don't get me wrong, still sucks, was way worse. By doing about a dozen or so hours of agility, you could be 30% less annoyed forever, which is an amazing deal. Everyone should take that, and everyone did take it. The hood and mask combo, it's the safest bet to make something look cool. So aesthetically and mechanically, this was great. This was a good idea. However, the introduction of Graceful changed everybody into the exact same character. Every skilling activity, because its passive was amazing, and every hangout spot, because it looked pretty cool. Since there's no transmog in old school, it was just Graceful everywhere. At all times. Wearing full Graceful was like the default Fortnite skin. There were more people looking like this than there were looking like that. That has always been what people think of when they think of generic RuneScape character. Not anymore. 13 years later, they're still all over the place. This guy, not so much. The bots, they realized that they can click more buttons on the start screen. It just lowered the game's saturation. The vibrance just all the way down. No one had any individuality anymore. It was a hood and a mask, so you couldn't tell what anyone's faces looked like. I actually banned the standard Graceful outfit from Gary's party when we threw that. People showing up to Gary's house in their full Graceful, the most default thing, the default
he just
skin.
Kicks them out if they have Graceful.
Their default Fortnite skin of Graceful, doing the same dance, the same default dance. We're gonna let that play. We're gonna let that play one more time, actually, because 8sat hated making it. I made him make that.
Come to Slayer Master.
Gave him money, don't worry. He did not like it. He really did not like the process of making that. It was worth it though. It got its screen time. We'll play it again. But in 2016, there was finally a way to recolor your Graceful. Hey, even if 5 people did it, that's a...
Wait, the black Graceful. That looks good. Where does the black one come from? Hollowed Sepulcher. Ooh, I need to get that.
To recolor your Graceful. Hey, even if 5 people did it, that's a great update to have. Anything to get one less person wearing the standard default Graceful. In a game with no transmog, if the devs are creating a very useful item, they have to look really good, because in the era of old school RuneScape where people are caring a lot more about efficiency, they're gonna prioritize the usefulness of an item over the way it looks. But that doesn't mean they don't care about the way it looks. In contrast to this, in a game like World of Warcraft, if Blizzard puts out an expansion, there'll probably be some cool items introduced with new expansions, but chances are players are just gonna wanna use their transmog, their character, their outfit that they've created. So whatever new items that they get they're just gonna override them anyway. So the devs, I'm sure they do try and make items look good if they're a brand new design, but there's not this big pressure knowing that if a player's gonna use that and wear it, that's exactly what they're gonna look like. The devs don't have to put that much weight into what they're designing. Not having any sort of transmog in this game puts a bigger
Yeah, a lot of the gear does kind of look trash nowadays. Well, the thing in retail, they have to design so much gear, and none of it, like most of the time, people are not going to be wearing any of it. So it's just a lot of new gear that they have to add to the game all the time. Like Blizzard's art department is insane because they have to design thousands of pieces of gear for every expansion. And you want like the premier gear from the raid. And then they have 4 different tiers of raid. So they have to recolor the gear 4 different times. So you're getting 4 different colors of the same gear. And sometimes the mythic gear is glowing. So they have to like, or they change like something small about the mythic gear, mythic tier level of the gear. And it's just so much gear that you don't care about the names of any of it. And it's just like, you lose so much connection. Like that item identity is so strong, and you just lose it in that vertical progression MMO.
pressure to make that end game, the end game gear,
There's just too much gear.
look better, because the end game is fashion, which takes on a whole new meaning in old school. Players want to wear an item that shows how good they are, how much they've been through, what their journey has been like. I think the end game items that we have, they are pretty fashionable. They look good. If you go around to areas in the game, like the Grand Exchange.
Damn, look at that Radiant. Haters in the chat gonna say no Rancor recolor. He's got the kit. He's got the kit on the Avernic, the kit on the Scythe, the Max Treads with the Radiant Oathplate Zuck. That's the end game right there, boys. That's the end game. And the Omelet following him. Yo, Order Pazza, thank you very much for the 6-monther. Yeah, dude. A lot of the gear in RuneScape just looks sick, man. It looks sick. Especially I'm really glad they spent a lot of time designing like the Oathplate and the Blood Torva. And that Zuck helm looks sick. It looks so much cooler than like anything else. It just stands out, man. And that's how it should be.
Nothing happening. You'll see
Don't
people
die. Thank you very much for the 3 months.
Best in slot gear because they like the way it looks. And when players finally do get that end game gear, they finally equip it, and they get to show everyone else what they're wearing, they are making a statement. A lot of the gear in this game has a story attached to it. A real...
Yeah. True. Because like when they're making a statement, though, you have to be careful with mains. What I really like is that's why I like Ironman so much, is like everybody earned all the stuff that they have on them without question. And with a main, you have to sit there and question like, oh, did he earn that? But if they have a Zuck helm on it, it doesn't matter if you're a main or an iron. Zuck helm like transcends that because it's a clear indicator of skill. It's like a status symbol. That's what I love.
Indicator of personal achievement. If you see a player wearing this cape here, you know a lot of things about them immediately. At some point, this character here survived 63 waves of Tazar monsters, understood the basics of in-game movement and safe spotting, and proved that they are mechanically competent enough to change their prayers based off a visual or sound cue under a pretty high pressure situation. Now, I don't know if this guy's big brother got it for him. You could just endlessly accuse everyone of that if you want to. But no matter who was playing the account, at some point in time, this character here went through the entirety of the fight caves and achieved something with no help from another character. Wearing a rune plate body, they've killed a green dragon, a big one. Holding a dragon scimitar, they went through Monkey Madness 1 and navigated through one of the scariest places in the game, I think. Inferno Cape, you died 100 times over and over again until you finally beat the big-ass guy, the huge guy. The same deal for the quiver with the Colosseum. A helm of Neatsnot, a lunar staff, an adopted monkey that's on your back, a myth cape. Players are subconsciously giving value to different items based off what they've done themselves, the personal achievements that they've achieved. This sounds pretty self-explanatory, but let's look at that other MMO where people might want certain items a lot. In World of Warcraft, especially Classic, there are some very, very sought after items. They mean something to people. Let's take Thunder Fury, for example. I know a lot of people know what that sword is. If a player sees another player holding a Thunder Fury in Classic, they might look at them with envy and jealousy. And if we're making stuff up,
actual goat,
happy for them. Do raids again and again to get a 3 to 4% chance drop rate many times, and do the most tedious sounding forging process I've ever seen in my life. Go get another 39 people and kill that raid boss, and then you can have the sword. And that is a really cool item to finally get. But there is a possibility the people around you carried your ass through every step of the process. So extremely awesome and very iconic. No one's really seeing a Thunder Fury and thinking, that guy is fucking amazing at this game. That guy must be way better than me. Let me put it this way.
Yeah, that is so true, bro. You don't have to be amazing at the game to get a Thunder Fury. You just have to be the raid leader and the main tank. And then you get the Thunder Fury. If you raid every week for like 6 months straight on average, then you'll have one. You also have to be rich because it's expensive to make it. And you also need a guild to help you get it because there's an additional boss that you have to kill on the quest. So you can't just show up to raid. You also have to have like at least 20, 30 people help you out to kill the Cyclone boss whenever you craft it. So you need a lot of help in order to get it.
There are some people out there that do not have their keybinds set, that click every ability, that are proud owners of a Thunder Fury, okay? It is not an indicator of how good a player is. Classic doesn't have any of that, but retail kind of does. Apparently there's things like titles, like PvP rank 1, which doesn't actually mean rank 1, but you're like up there. You're in like the top percentage, but don't tell anyone that. It doesn't sound as cool then. Cutting edge title, M plus hero. I'm assuming that means mythic plus hero. I could be wrong, I don't know. But even then, they're not completely telling of a player's personal skill, because others are involved in getting them. It's more of a group achievement.
That's why selling carries is so popular. In fact, what I learned is that in China, people sell gold in China and they sell carries for real money. And the people in China that make the most money are the ones who are the highest on the Raider IO chart. So people in China are actually selling carries for real money, and they're making a living based off of how high they are on the Raider IO chart. And that's why you see a lot of Chinese in the top mythic, a lot of Chinese teams on the top keys leaderboard, because they are making a living off of the game. And they are pushing keys nonstop to sell them. And this is their advertisement. Come get carried by the rank 1 Mythic Plus team, and they make a lot more money because people will pay a premium to be with the getting carried by the rank 1 Mythic Plus team. That's how it was explained to me. So yeah, that's why the carry culture is big in World of Warcraft, especially in retail. And that's actually how the number 1 guilds fund their race, is they sell mythic carries for like millions of gold, and people just get carried through it and they pay 1 million gold, and now they have cutting edge. And then the rank like Liquid and Echo, they'll use that money during the next race to World First to pay people not to roll on loot, so they get all the loot, and then they can go and win race to World First by having really high item level. So the game has just turned in to this carry for gold culture, almost a pay to win culture, so that you can have the status symbol, which I don't like very much. All because it's group content. Yeah, and that's why I love RuneScape, because it's like there's so much solo content in the game. There's solo status symbols where literally the only way you could get carried to do it is to break TOS and give somebody that's better than you your password and pay them illegally to play your account to get it, which some people do. But you have to at least commit a bannable offense to do it. And that, to me, is good. I like that. So while not all Infernal Capes are legit, most of them are, or at least some of them might be getting banned, which I like.
The people around you, including yourself, know what they're doing. I could be wrong. Again, not a retail guy. I'm sure there's some cases to be made. In my classic WoW experience, there was one item that felt like a RuneScape achievement, the Whirlwind Axe. If you obtain the Whirlwind Axe at level 30, which is the minimum level that you can start the quest and get it, it's a really cool accomplishment. I got the Whirlwind Axe at level 30 on my OnlyFans character, which I am making that video this year. Don't worry, keep begging for it. It's working. And getting it was awesome. It felt amazing. But seeing a level 30 with a Whirlwind Axe, people aren't automatically assuming that that person jumped back and forth in a river for 15, 20.
No, it's kind of like you seeing a main out in the world that has a quiver at like, I don't know, level 75 or 80. No, not even a quiver. It's kind of, it's like, what's an item that can be bought? Like, what's something that can be carried? Like, it's kind of like you seeing somebody that has, is this like a hard comparison? What's something that people can get early on that they can just get carried through? And you're like, oh, I don't know if he did that on his own or if he got carried through it. Like a Fang kit. Yeah, like imagine it was like a Fang kit, but you don't, he's like on a main and he's like pretty low level and you're like, how did he get this? You know, like there's not very much way for him to do enough damage possible at his level, but he's on a main. So maybe he had a ton of gear off the AH and then he somehow did it, or maybe he got carried through it. So like usually it's one of those things where when you see it, you're like 99% chance he got carried through it because everybody does it. It's like in WoW, this item, everybody gets carried through it. You just message like a high level warrior, hey, can you help me do the whirlwind real quick? Because it's like a super big increase in damage. But in OnlyFans, they made you solo it. In fact, you got kicked out of the guild if you got help. So you had to solo it. And that's what made the item feel so much better when you got it. And that's what Jimmy is describing here. But he wouldn't have had this feeling if he got carried through it. So it's a unique situation that he's describing that not everybody gets to experience. And it's the only thing to him that felt even close to what RuneScape has to offer. And I think that's the sad thing about WoW. And if they don't fix this in Classic Plus, I'm going to be so much less interested in going back and playing WoW. If they don't have some type of cosmetic status symbol system where you can't be carried through it. They need that.
20 minutes to get that axe, because that's not a requirement. You do not have to solo anything
there you go.
in that quest line to get that axe. No one's looking at a level 30 with a whirlwind axe thinking, that guy there, he soloed the Cyclonian. They're looking at that level 30 with the whirlwind axe thinking, that guy there has a level 60 friend that killed the Cyclonian, which is probably exactly what happened. On the RuneScape side of things, you could argue that all the characters that you see with these big items, you know, it's the same deal. They didn't earn those items. They didn't earn that Torva or that Scythe. You know, maybe their mom gave them a bunch of Christmas money. They got bonds and they bought it, which you're right. That's absolutely true sometimes. Yes, 100%, except these exist. Ornament kits. The aesthetics that are built to dunk on the haters. That is why those exist. Use them on the endgame gear to turn them into different versions with, you know, a kind of trim or a slightly different look to them. And certain ornament kits, like this one, making the blood Torva, as we call it, you can't buy that. No, you silly little guy. If you want your Torva that your mother bought you for Christmas, if you want it looking like that.
I actually don't even like that you can, I honestly don't even like that you could buy your attempts on a main. I don't even like that you can skip having to farm the boss yourself to get your attempts in. I wish they took that out, and it would make it even more rare. Because if people couldn't even buy their orbs, they would have to go farm the boss themselves just to get an attempt, and then it would up the stakes by like a times 100. You couldn't just buy attempts from other people that actually farm the orbs.
You've got some difficult challenges to get through, and they cannot be cheesed. And you have to.
Which is what I'm gonna do. Which is what I'm gonna do when it's my time to go get my blood torva. I'm gonna go on my main, or I'm gonna borrow someone's account, and then I'm gonna go practice. And then it's just like, it kind of cheapens the experience a bit. It would make it 100 times more rare. I feel like if you actually saw someone in Blood Torva, it would make it so much more exclusive. I would love that.
To do them on your own. For Blood Torva, you've got to defeat every single Desert Treasure 2 boss in their awakened form, which is not easy. If you want your Fang looking like this, you've got to complete a TOA at a 500 plus invocation with no deaths in your party, which is hard. Radiant Oath Plate, which I think is the coolest armor in the game, personally. To get that, you got to do the Yama contracts, which are unsportsmanlike, we'll call it. But it looks really nice, so it's probably worth doing. And of course, the cosmetic of all cosmetics. The hardest item to achieve in old school RuneScape by a long shot. An item that takes the game's greatest players years to achieve. The Zuck Helm. I haven't played all MMORPGs, but I'm willing to put a little money on it that this is probably the hardest item to achieve in any MMORPG you could play. I am not exaggerating. It's
I think
really
it is
difficult to explain why to players that aren't familiar with old school, but dude, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong once, maybe even twice before, but I'm probably not. Look, if you see a guy or girl, it's a guy. If you see a guy wearing this, don't go up to him and talk to him. They probably do not want to be your friend. They've been through a lot. All of their happy was absorbed by the process of getting that helmet. They've lost a piece of themselves. I mean, look at this one. Even his pet's puffing his chest out, dude. don't mess with that guy. They all
RuneScape difficulties gnarly. What's up, Jay? Yeah, Jay's in Doom right now. He's learning Doom. He knows about the difficulty in RuneScape. Yeah. Wait. Jay, if you're frustrated now, bro, wait till you start hitting level 8s, man. Wait till you start hitting 8s. You will pull every hair that you don't have out.
All have difficult challenges behind them that take real mechanical knowledge, a lot of determination. There is a way to make every item you get some form of indicator of your skill by talking to this gentleman right here on Tutorial Island and telling him you'd like to play the game single player. Let's take a look at this guy here, okay? He's got bandos, chest plate, tassets. He's got the nay it's not face guard.
The prims?
He's got his prims, a rapier. He's got a torture amulet. He's looking nice. On the surface, when we look at this guy, we can assume, okay, he's got 75 defense. He's got 75 hit points. He's done Fremennik Exiles, and he probably paid around 100.
He's got 91. Okay, he's got 91 Slayer at least. He's got 93 crafting at least. Actually, my bad. He's got 95 Slayer. He's got the Pharaoh gloves, right? Is that Ferocious Gauntlets? Oh, wait. You can buy all this in a main. Is there anything you can't buy? I don't know. I don't know what all you're allowed to buy. I don't know if any of this stuff is actually exclusive. That looks like an Inferno Cape, but it could be fire. I'm not sure.
130 mil for that gear. But
because the Inferno is red like that when you look at it.
Figure out that he's got this symbol next to his name.
Oh, okay. Yes. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why Ironman, you respect the gear. Ironman makes you immediately respect the gear no matter what. So yeah, then all that stuff I was saying is true. He's got at least 93 crafting, which sucked. He went through that grind. He's got 95 Slayer if he's got the Ferragamo gloves on with the prims. That means he's killed Serb. He's got the Primordial Crystal. That means he's done Bandos all the way through. He's killed the Basilisk and got the Jaw. If that's an Infernal Cape, then he earned that. Like the Rapier and the Defender means he's done a ton of TOBs, unless he got spooned in 2 TOB, which never happened. So he's probably done at least 100 TOBs to get that. Yeah, this guy's a Giga Chad. So you can tell right away.
Changes a lot, because now we know he's got at least 91 Slayer to kill Cerberus for those boots. He's got 93 magic. He's done Monkey Madness 2 to make that torture. He has killed General Grardor by himself hundreds, maybe even thousands if you're 9 times.
If you're 9 rain times.
And we know he's done Theater of Blood with another group enough times to earn that drop himself. And he also got a 1 in 1,000 drop from the Basilisk.
He put 91 Slayer. What gloves are those? Are those Pharaoh gloves? Guys, help me out here. What gloves are those? I don't have those. Are those the Pharaoh gloves? So Jimmy messed up here. It should be 95 Slayer. I'm going to have to message Jimmy and told him he made a mistake in the video. He's going to have to repost it. He's going to have to take it down now. Unbelievable.
So this little symbol here, suddenly we know that this guy, he's been through some shit. Playing Ironman will automatically confirm to everybody else that every piece of gear that you've got on.
Oh, those are part of Bando's chestplate? These gloves? Does he have Pharaoh gloves, or does he have
completed?
Or does he have barrows? I can't tell, guys. It could be barrows underneath the BCP. You can't really see from this angle. Okay. No. All right, I take it back. This is probably just 91 Slayer. We cannot confirm the gloves. It kind of looks like Barrow's gloves, but we can't see from here. Apparently, when you have Pharaoh gloves on, they're kind of covered up by the BCP anyway.
He has killed General Grardor by himself hundreds, maybe even thousands if you're 9 rain times to get that chest plate and tassets. And we know he's done Theater of Blood with another group enough times to earn that drop himself. And he also got a 1 in 1,000 drop from the Basilisks. So this little symbol here, suddenly we know that this guy, he's been through some shit. Playing Ironman will automatically confirm to everybody else that every piece of gear that you've got on, every weapon you're holding, it was all earned through your own blood, sweat, and baby tears. A lot of baby tears. Ironmen sweat and cry a lot. That's we all know that. Comes with the game mode.
True.
No transmog. There's something about it that just makes the game world
better,
so much more alive. When you're running around an MMO that has transmog, you've got to
don't look at anybody.
Every player you see if you want to see what they're actually wearing. When I'm standing in World of Warcraft and I look around, you know, all I see is a bunch of frauds. I don't know who's telling the truth. They're all disguising themselves as someone they're not. I'm sure that's what everyone's thinking. This paranoid, crazy thought. There's just something about it that takes the authenticity out of the game world. And this can go a couple different directions, because I remember a few years ago when me and Framed were trying out RuneScape 3 together, we were trying to seduce this guy.
Yo, LMGD, thank you for the raid, sir. Good job hitting level 62. Saw your 62 attempts there, Mr. LMGD. Fantastic job. You'll have it soon, man. You'll have it soon. Keep on sending attempts, bro. That's what the Inferno's about. You get frustrated, you get mad at yourself, and then you come back the next day and then you just try to do better. That's what RuneScape is. It's hard. It's a big mountain you got to climb, man. You're going to love it. You're going to feel so much more accomplished when you get that Inferno cape, dude. I'm doing really bad. Newsflash. That is not exclusive to you, okay? So you might be like, I'm doing really bad, I suck, but everybody sucks. So just try to remember that. Everybody sucked on their first few attempts. But what RuneScape players like to do is they like to look back at people that are on their first attempts and laugh at them and try to pretend like they weren't worse than that. That's what RuneScape players do. Because now they know everything. They know what to do. They like to flex. I've got 100 Inferno kills. Guarantee you, they were worse than all of your attempts combined on their first few tries. Okay? That's just what they do. So just remember that. You're doing better than all these people that are making fun of you. Good job, bro.
Into giving our girl characters money. Because he looked really powerful and rich, and we were doing the right thing. But I inspected this crazy looking guy, this overlord of power and destruction. he's wearing rune armor. He wasn't rich or powerful, but since he spent real life money on these big man coins, he could disguise himself as a powerful and rich guy, which isn't right to do. You shouldn't act like the character you're not. You don't see us tricking anybody with cosmetic overrides. This is us as we are. Your character's appearance in old school,
You have 0 blood runes? Dude, go craft them at the Scar Essence mine. I made I crafted 30,000 blood runes yesterday for like 10 mil or something like that. It took me 20 minutes to do it. Just go craft them.
requires commitment, true commitment. If you want to do a raid dressed as a free-to-play bunny girl, you've got to go into that raid with free-to-play bunny girl items. That is what you have to wear. In old school, there are no cosmetic override bunny girl outfits carrying the raid. If you see someone wearing that during a raid, that is exactly what they're wearing. Someone should make that a series, doing all the end game content as a bunny girl. I'll let you have that for free.
Yo, Molgo Kirby, we got you a new series after you finish the logo.
Free. I know if the right person starts that series, that'll jumpstart a YouTube career, no doubt. Next week, there's 6 bunny girl raid series. Fashionscape. You know, that's the big word. That's the word that all of this is about. Fashionscape means a lot to people. Like 8sat, for example, he claims that he worked on perfecting his outfit for months. He said, and I quote, "If you want to be fully accurate, it took a lifetime to have the artistic eye to curate an outfit like that." This is him, by the way. This is a lifetime. This is a lifetime. I'm not laughing at him. This is a lifetime of work. Now on the client side of things, there are RuneLite plugins like Fashionscape where you can make your character look any way you want.
Only for you though.
You're gonna see it. And then you've got like the Glamour plugin where you can change the color of literally anything. No one's gonna see it, just you. It's for your own satisfaction. It's not like I don't understand the art of transmog, the importance of it to players. Half of MMORPG is in fact RPG, especially in like Final Fantasy 14, because I've heard some stuff about that game. If people design a character, make a character, and they roleplay as that character, they want them to look like that everywhere they go, so people recognize them. If you're coming at it from a completionist standpoint, transmog is just another incentive to have a complete collection log, to get everything. Now that RuneScape 3 has added that toggle to disable other people's cosmetics, it's kind of given that truth back into the game a little bit, which is honestly, it's crazy that this did become a thing, because RuneScape 3, the cosmetics have been such a big part of the game for so long. I'm sure that a lot of players are not happy about this. It's not the biggest deal, I don't think, but players that spent a lot of money over the years on cosmetics are probably a little pissed off that people aren't even going to see it anymore. But I think it is very good for the overall health of the game. It makes the world around you feel so real. If they're going into combat, you see what combat gear they're wearing. If they're skilling, you know that that's the items that they went and collected and chose to wear while they're skilling. So even though transmog on a surface level is a nice idea,
I know Frosty Zan dressed like a clown, squatting down, dropping monkey nuts every time I see him. That's what he chooses to wear. So that's item identity.
The players appreciate it. I appreciate old school not having transmog. I think it really does, especially nowadays, separate it from the rest of the MMORPGs. It just adds a sense of authenticity in a genre where everything is so cosmetic and not actually what you're seeing.
Who cares? Listen, that's the whole point of this video, is that there's something really great in RuneScape that you should be appreciating. So this video is for people like you who don't appreciate the fact that RuneScape has this.
It's something I'll always appreciate about this game. While I do think there are some long-term implications and some trends that it causes with dev design, I don't think transmog is by any means the end of the world for an MMO. I don't think it's going to destroy a game in theory. Maybe it could if, you know, they go overboard with cash shop stuff. I understand that transmog plays such a big role in the RPG part. I'm sure there's people that don't really want to play RuneScape because they can't transmog. It's not a terrible thing to have in the game. I'm just really appreciative of what not having transmog has done for old school RuneScape in the bigger picture. The wacky gear setups, the commitment to an outfit and a character, whether you're standing around in that outfit or doing a challenge as a free-to-play bunny girl or whatever, the ability to show how good you are at the game just by equipping something. What you see is what you get. That's something that only old school can really offer right now. But I think that's all I've got. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy.
Oh, I love this video, man. Awesome video, Jimmy. Guys, did anybody enjoy that video? It just makes you appreciate, you know, all the things that you're wearing. When you look at my character, you're like, okay. All right. Yup. Damn. He really did that. You know what I mean? Like, yup.